Hello, everybody. weebrabbit here, and welcome back to the Otaku Overload Podcast, episode 55. How is everybody doing? Hopefully, everyone is doing well. We are back with another episode of the podcast, and I'll be honest, with the holidays coming up, not too sure how many more there's going to be, but at least we have another episode. That's another normal episode after last week's whole Game Awards thing. And yeah, we'll just have to see how many more we're able to squeeze into the end of the year. But for now, we're back. I'm excited to share some stuff. Legend John is here, of course. And take it away, I guess. Say hello and start with your week if you're ready.
Yo, what's up, guys? I'm back for episode 55. I'm pretty excited. I got a lot to talk about, so I'm about to get into my week. The first thing I did was I watched episodes 5 and 6 of Darling in the Franxx. Um, I thought they were pretty good. Nothing, like no plot. Like how you said that it was gonna get kind of weird near the end. Um,
Hmm.
Nothing too weird has kind of gone in there. I am kind of like the whole thing with 02. I feel like in these two episodes, she's kind of like, I don't know, I don't really like her character here. I feel like she's too, like, not like selfish, but I don't know, like, it seems like she doesn't like care about Hero as much as it seems. Because then when they give her like the implication, because in the way I'm going to start it off is that episode 5 starts with Hero waking up and he's kind of sweating, and no one knows why he's sweating. It's implied that I guess he got sick while because of him like piloting with I was gonna say darling with 02, and because of that it led to him forming this weird, like, I don't even know, it looks like a tumor, honestly. And so whenever people try to touch him, he gets very he kind of like tries to push people away. And everyone kind of tries to confront 02 about her trying to connect with Hero and trying to tell her like, hey, don't push him too far, don't do this, don't do that. But then 02 is not really listening, and she kind of explains that it's like, her darling, if he kind of fails, then well, that's kind of it. And so a lot of people kind of are getting tired of her like act. And even I kind of felt like I was getting kind of tired of it. Cause like if you like this guy, like, you know what I mean? That's kind of messed up. Um, and so Ichigo, yeah, she's the one that kind of like confront her about that whole thing. And she ends up crying later on to Go- Goro, and they both, feel
Is
new
he a
emotions.
is he a Goron?
No.
Goro?
um, they both feel new emotions because Ichigo starts crying while Goro feels bad, and he wants to kind of like put his hand on her shoulder and try to comfort her. And so he kind of stops himself and he says that what is this new feeling? Um, and so later on, in this like episode 5, they confront Hero and 02, they meet up with each other, and it's shown that they talk about the fact that there's the whole thing about that not to push him past his limits in a sense, but that Hero kind of says like, hey yo, like, I don't really care, let's ride together. And episode 6 is that, I guess, this class of the kids, this plantation, um they team up with another one called Plantation 26, and they're going to fight against those dinosaurs, the Galaxosaurs. And so when they do, it seems like the mission's going pretty well until, for some reason, Strelizia gets kind of like released early in a sense. Um, and for some reason, Hero's tumor starts to grow rapidly. And, he's over here like dying. 02's freaking out because the connection's not working. But then Hero and 02, they both communicate with each other like telepathically. I guess like in like how do you say, like in anime when like the person dies and they're like kind of like in a different realm? They're both
Yeah.
talking to each other. And so they kind of do is, she mentions how for her, she's just killing them because she's a monster, while him, he's only doing it because it's kind of like his purpose. But then he kind of wakes up from all of that and his near death experience, and he tells her that I guess now he has a new purpose, which is to keep writing with her and to never like let her down. And so kind of like the first episode where there's like the spark, and then 𝐦𝐤𝐤𝐬 kind of comes back like super powered. 𝐦𝐤𝐤𝐬 helps like defeat the 𝐥𝐤𝐬𝐿, and that's when like Dr. Franxx he's watching it, and he says that like like he's a really remarkable kid, and that maybe he is um that he's most likely like that like he's like the same, like he might be able to pass the test finally, from how good he is. And that in the end they basically like celebrate kind of like in the first episode where he comes out of the thing and they look out into the horizon basically.
Yeah. Yeah, I would say these episodes, they're all right. I feel like it's just kind of a little bit of action, a little bit more of showing Hero gain over that hurdle of, will he survive being partnered with Zero Two, you know what I mean? And you kind of start to get some hints of some other stuff, like you said, like the whole, Ichigo being all, crying because she feels that, Hero's gonna get hurt, and then Goro, like he said like put his hand on Ichigo to comfort her, and he doesn't know what he's feeling and stuff like that. Because we've talked about how these kids basically they've just been made for war. That's all they know.
Hmm.
So we'll kind of see how as we're introduced to someone like Zero Two, who wasn't, raised the way they were, and her whole thing with Hero, we'll kind of see how it affects the other kids. So I'll just say just keep that in mind. So that's kind of interesting. We kind of see little sparks of it here. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
And besides that, yeah, it's just about, Hero and Zero Two and their bond, and how there's definitely something there. It's not a fluke. You know what I mean? Like you said, the fact that they are able to kind of like connect and power the thing up like almost like super level and stuff. So there's some stuff there, obviously. And yeah,
Hmm.
it's kind of weird, Zero Two's attitude. I would say it's not so much that she doesn't care about Hero himself and if he gets hurt. I think it's more of like she just like wants him to like go beyond. And so when she sees people going like, oh, we're worried about him, we don't push him, blah, blah, blah. She's kind of like, no, I do kind of want to push him. That way he'll go farther. That way he'll grow more. And she also doesn't care that people are like, oh, we're worried about him, this and that, because she's kind of very possessive. Like, no, like he's mine. So whatever you guys are saying, like screw off. You know what I mean? I feel like it's kind of more of that.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, I know what you mean. Sometimes she can feel a bit kind of cold or kind of abrasive and stuff, you know what I mean? Definitely. But yeah.
Hmm.
But yeah, cool, cool, cool. You got you're getting farther in. That's pretty cool. Um, yeah, just keep watching, just keep waiting to see where the story goes. But as you can see, we're getting more of the like I said, more of the connection with Zero Two and Hero, more about seeing that they really are meant to be partnered up, more of their relationship. We're kind of trying to see that his other people in the squad aren't very happy about what's happening. So we're gonna, obviously get some conflicts there. And yeah, you just have to keep watching to see how all of that develops and where all of these little threads go. But sounds like
Hmm.
you're still enjoying it, so that's good. And yeah, it's interesting to see you know, um, your reaction to the episodes and your thoughts on them and stuff. So pretty cool. Nice.
Yeah.
Cool, cool, cool.
Yeah. And I did have another thing I watched because finally, after like a long time, I finally finished it. I finally finished Scott Pilgrim Takes Off. I finally watched like from episode 2 to episode 8. I finally watched all of them.
Yeah,
I thought it was pretty good. I liked it.
that's cool. That's
I
cool.
I, I liked how, not to like, I mean, let's be honest, it's been like what, how much long? Like 2 months now? Um,
I think it has, right? No, wasn't it? Did it come out?
yeah.
When did it come out, actually?
I think like, oh, actually, maybe it did come out in November.
Yeah, I think it came out in November. I don't think it's been that long, but I still get what you mean. It's still been a bit, you know what I mean? Some time has
Hmm.
passed, but yeah, if you meant like about maybe like some like kind of spoilers and stuff, yeah, as long as we like say it first, I think that's fine. But yeah, if you meant about spoilers and stuff, yeah, spoilers coming, like in the next 3 seconds or whatever. It's very
Hmm.
interesting how, yeah, everybody thought that it was going to be a just, adaptation of the manga and like the story we've already gotten. And it's very funny as the
Hmm.
first episode really starts almost like beat for beat, right? It makes you think that it really is going to be like whatchamacallit, like a just an adaptation, right? Like not a remake necessarily, but like an anime adaptation version of it this time, right? And then it's crazy how it's like, nope, it's actually totally different. Where the first episode just ends with him like dying against Matthew Patel, and I think, oh shit,
Hmm.
where's this going? And from there, yeah, it's
Yeah.
just like Ramona's quest to like find out what happened to Scott, and it's pretty interesting because then we get all these like really
Hmm.
interesting like alternate universe things, or like first of all, before all of the stuff with the exes, with her trying to like see I guess if they were, it's kind of like a who done it, right? Who actually killed Scott? Because when they look at like some footage or whatever, they realize that it wasn't actually Matthew Patel that like killed him. It's actually that he got like
Pulled through a portal.
yeah, he basically got like stolen, right? And so it's like, okay, who did it? And so it's kind of interesting that she's kind of tracking down all the people in Scott's life, as well as her exes, to like, see who might have done it and like their motivation and stuff. We get all these like cool moments with all of her exes and her like reconnecting with them and stuff, which is really good because in the original, some of them don't come out for very long. They get defeated, so there's not really that closure or whatever. So it's really cool seeing how she actually has that closure with everybody and kind of goes through the process
Hmm.
of being a better person too, because in the other material it's kind of just like, oh, she was kind of crappy because she broke up with all these people and moved on, but we don't really get to see her like ever really apologize for it. So that was really cool just seeing the characters in these like different situations, and it's almost like we see them fleshed out with like different stuff happening. And I mean, so that was really cool. But I was gonna say one of my favorite things is the fact that Matthew Patel, after being the one that supposedly defeats Scott, he gets all cocky, and so he goes and like challenges like
Hmm.
Gideon because number one,
Yeah.
I don't know who defeated Scott, so he thinks he's all like cool now. And number two, he has a point. He thought that like, oh, whoever like wins like gets Ramona's heart, right? But it's not
Hmm.
about that because when he wins, Ramona doesn't want to date him. She doesn't care. She's still like interested in like Scott, despite him being gone. And he's like, well, if like I won and like Ramona doesn't want to be with me, then what was the whole damn point? And so he kind of like confronts Gain about it. And I just thought it was so
Hmm.
cool. They have like the freaking boss fight, and Matthew
I thought the
Patel
fights were.
wins
Hmm.
again. So Matthew Patel wins
Yeah.
again. So it's really cool to see the one who got like the least amount of attention before, right? Because he was always like the first boss, easiest one to like defeat, wasn't around much. The fact that he actually beats Gideon and takes all his like stuff, like that was really cool. That was like a really cool like
Hmm.
little change, like the fact the first boss becomes like the leader of everything was really cool. And
Yeah.
besides that, yeah, like you said, the fight scenes are really good, I think. A lot of really fun choreography and animation stuff. Um, like the story and what they did with it was really
I really did.
interesting.
Hmm.
It was super crazy that a lot of people had kind of thought, that if you look at like all of the especially like symbolism and stuff in the movie, how like okay, for the first evil X and like oh, he only has like one eye showing because of the bangs covering his his face, right? And the fact that he
Yeah.
points, a one, right? And then like the second guy, okay, because he his trailer has like a two on it. And I don't know, just like every X he fights, whatever number they are, a lot of stuff surrounding them, the number just like shows up a lot.
Hmm.
And if you look at Scott, he would wear a zero. And so people are saying like almost like, yeah, to show that he's like, you know, not any of them. Like he still has a number technically, but it's also like maybe like, okay, maybe he has the potential to one day become one of the evil X's, right? Depending on what happens. And of
Hmm.
course, the final boss ends up being Scott from the future, older Scott. And it's kind of
Hmm.
crazy that yeah, he definitely becomes like the eighth evil X. He becomes like the ultimate one. And it's so dumb. That ends up being like some huge misunderstanding. It's just him being stupid. But whatever, it's still kind of cool to see that he was the evil X, the ultimate boss. And basically Scott had to learn to like not let himself become
Hmm.
that. You know what I mean? So it's kind of cool that, like how yeah, they just give us this new content. We got to follow Ramona a lot. We got to see all of like her character growth. Got to see all of these different things with all of like the evil X's. Even though Scott wasn't around too much because he was missing for a majority of the series, it was so interesting to see that yeah, he did still learn something, even though it was like a new thing where it wasn't so much about him learning about like in the original stuff about him not being a crappy boyfriend. Here is more about him learning to not be a crappy husband, basically, and to not let
Hmm.
himself become this terrible person once, like, oh, I had him happily ever after, all my problems are over. It's like, no, you still have issues to deal with. Like, there's like new issues that you could potentially fall into. So it's interesting to see him have to like learn to not become that. You know what I mean? So yeah, I really liked it. I thought it
Hmm.
was really cool. It is disappointing we had that news story where if you remember, I think it was like a couple weeks ago, where the creator said that yeah, they hadn't really planned to make a season two. Like, there's not really any plans for it. You saw what I meant now, right? About how there was a almost like a little hint that like, oh, it looked like there was gonna
Yeah, I
be
know what you're
like
talking about. Yeah.
yeah, because Gideon, despite him basically becoming like a loser, moving in with Julie because apparently they were kind of like a thing in the past, and we find out his real name the whole time wasn't Gideon Graves. It was
I hate it. Yeah.
I thought it was funny. What do you mean? I thought it was funny. His
No,
name's Gordon
no,
Gordon
it's because it sounds so
Gordon
dumb. Yeah.
Goose. Gordon Goose,
Gordon
man.
Goose.
I thought it was funny, man. I thought it was funny. His name was actually Gordon Goose the whole time. And so he hated his name, so he changed it to something else. I thought that was
Oh,
funny.
thank God. Wow.
But even then, you know how like he becomes like a whole thing with Julie. And at the end, they have like that little scene where he's still evil, but this time like Julie's right there with him, and it sounds like they're gonna like do something new, right?
Hmm.
And so it sucks that we're never gonna get to see like what was it? What would he have done? Because he seems to be over Ramona. I mean, the whole point is he has Julie now, but Julie's right there with him about him getting some sort of power. So what could it have been that they were planning to do? You know what I mean?
Uh, I mean, they might just want to like overthrow Scott, and that's it. And that's like primarily it.
Yeah, I
Because getting his
guess.
like Scott, like I don't know. Now he's like, I don't know. Like maybe just to be just to be shitty. That's it.
I guess so, but it's kind of funny because like if I hadn't been with the whole Scott incident, then he wouldn't have like lost everything and then like got together with Julie and then gotten everything back at the end with Matt when Matthew didn't want it. And so if he has like Julie now and he has like all his like empire, like he doesn't really have that grudge against Scott because he never lost to Scott in the first place. I don't know. It just seems really weird. You know what I mean? So I don't know, but it would have been really interesting to see what the whole point would have been. You know what I mean? But it looks like
Hmm.
we're not going to get that now, which kind of sucks, obviously.
Yeah.
Yeah, kind of disappointing. Um, so I enjoyed it. And oh yeah, I forgot to mention, I really like how in this little version, obviously we saw the changes, with the, like the evil X's. Everyone looks like they're a little bit happier now. They've all grown as people, blah blah blah. I like that Knives actually becomes a part of Sex Bomb, and she's like this musical
Oh yeah.
prodigy. I thought it was kind of fun. I like that. I was like, oh, that's a kind of fun little change to her too. That she's more a part of the group now because before it was just kind of like she was just kind of like this kid that was always kind of just there because of Scott and got involved. And at the end, she kind of like okay, she kind of was gonna like do her own thing, I guess now, right? It's kind of cool to hear she's more a part of the group. Like she's like more legit. I don't know. I just thought that was kind of fun too. You know what I mean? Like good for her.
I thought that was pretty cool.
Yeah, yeah. So yeah, there you go, guys. Legend of Jonathan finally finished the Scott Pilgrim anime, and it sounds like he liked it. Sounds like he had fun with it. And that's what I've basically been saying too, that I also really enjoyed it, really liked it. And you kind of heard us talk about a bit more about what parts we liked, since we weren't really trying to like spoil it before and stuff. So there you go. I think it's pretty fun. I know that some people aren't too happy that it was kind of like a bit of like a deception about what it was going to be. But honestly, I like the changes. I think it's cool. I mean, at this point, there's the graphic novel, there's the movie, there's the game. They all kind of cover the same story mostly. You know what I mean? So it's kind of cool to just get more and almost like a sequel slash alternate universe thing. I thought it was fun. I really like it. So pretty cool.
Same.
Yeah. Alrighty. And was that it for your week?
That's yeah, that's pretty much it.
All right, pretty good, pretty good. But good for you. You got to finish a series that you had kind of left hanging for a while, and then you were able to continue with more Donnie and the Franxx. So that's pretty good. Good for you.
hmm
As for me, I only have one thing of note to really talk about because honestly, I don't know. I just feel like there's with the year kind of winding down, there's not really any like big new things coming out, at least not that any that I noticed. So, part of it was like, okay, I'm still watching the anime that I've mentioned before, and some of them will probably end like in a couple more weeks. Other ones, especially this season, I feel like there's a lot. They're gonna be like really long ones. Like Frieren looks like it's gonna be like at least like 24 episodes. Oh my God, what was the other one? I literally had just like seen it earlier today, and I was like, yeah, some of these are gonna be like quite long. Oh, I think one of them was the Undead Unluck. I think that's what I'm thinking about. That I saw was
Oh
also gonna
yeah.
be like 24, 25 episodes. So yeah, a lot of them this time. Usually you might get one, of these like really big ones, every so often that are like a whole double, season to double core thing. But this time, like quite a few of them, the ones I'm watching are like, nope, they're not going to end for a while. So like that was really surprising.
hmm
But anyway, that aside, so even though I'm still watching anime, all that stuff, um, the only thing really of note that I did that was different that I think is worth mentioning is that I played this port that someone created for PC called
Oh, okay.
Link's Awakening XD HD
hmm
that basically somebody took, you know, uh, the Game Boy Color version of Link's Awakening, so that's Link's Awakening XD. Someone
DX.
took, huh?
You mean DX?
Is it DX, not XD?
Yeah, because XD would be like laughing.
And DX is what, not laughing?
It means deluxe.
I guess, but XD could just mean extra definition, which would still make sense. I don't know. Whatever.
Okay.
The point is, Link's Awakening DX, whatever. It's a stupid little subtitle anyway. It doesn't really matter
Yeah.
much anyway. The point is, yeah, Link's Awakening DX, that's the Game Boy Color version of Link's Awakening. And yeah, basically somebody took like all of the assets and all that from that version and they created their own port for the PC. So that means that you don't have to have an emulator or anything. You just have the program, downloaded, and you just have the folder with all the stuff in it, and you're able to play it. And it's pretty cool. It's definitely, Link's Awakening DX, the way you remember it, basically, just with a few, quality of life things. Like it has auto saving now. There's this feature where you can see like the whole map of covalent. No, is covalent when no. Yeah, is it covalent? Yeah, right. Because I was gonna say, or
Yeah.
yeah, because I was gonna say, or am I confusing that with one of the Oracle games? Oracle games also have their own places that aren't Hyrule, but yeah, it is covalent. Um,
hmm
yeah, there's like this feature where basically you can like zoom out and you can see like all of Covalent Island, and so it's really cool. So you kind of like get like an overview of everything. You know what I mean? And then instead of the DX version, because it was on the Game Boy slash Game Boy Color, there was only the two face buttons, right? And so
hmm
basically it would be like, okay, you would have, let's say, equipped your shield on one button and the sword in the other. And it would be really difficult because let's say you're fighting something, and so you're like, okay, I'm gonna have like the Rock's Feather and the sword, and I'm gonna be like, using that. But then, oh man, I need to pull out like my, bow and arrow, and so you'd have to like switch it by like pausing it and switching. And point is, it would be really crazy. It was only two buttons. You'd have to be like, mapping stuff on the fly basically and switching back and forth.
Hmm.
Here they have it so you have four things you can equip at once. Kind of
That's
almost
cool.
like the Switch version. Yeah, it
Hmm.
has like four face buttons basically, so you can have four buttons and four items at once, which is really cool. And just stuff like that, where it's just like small quality of life things, but it is basically still the DX version for all intents and
Hmm.
purposes. So I was checking that out. I thought it was really cool. I was having fun with it. I just played a little bit of that. It's something I'm definitely gonna, save on my PC so I can just, bust it out and play whenever I want. And it's pretty cool. Only thing to say though is that as of me discussing it, a lot of people are wondering, oof, if this is made using a lot of the original assets and it's people, basically making their own version of it though, Nintendo's probably not going to be too happy about it, are they?
Oh, they're probably gonna take
And
it down instantly. Yeah.
exactly. A lot of people are like, they're gonna take it down, aren't they? And sure enough, as of me, talking about it, it was taken down already. So that kind of sucks. But at least, it was up long enough that it's out there now. I download it, for instance, I have it on my PC, no one can take that away from me. And people, spread all over. I'm sure you can find it somewhere. There's probably somebody that's willing to, share the files with you. So you can say the good news is it's out there. There's no stopping it now, you know. But the bad news is that yeah, Nintendo took it down. So the people who created it, Nintendo did try to put a stop to it, which is kind of lame. But at least it's out there now. So good news and bad news. But yeah,
Yeah.
that's Nintendo, of course. Even though the game's free, I don't think they're really excelling or anything. And it's basically the game that already exists, but just because no, you put it on PC, that's not what we want. And they're dumb excuses. So that's pretty lame. But
Yeah.
at least it's out there, no one can stop it. So if you're interested, you'll have to do some digging, but I'm sure you can find it somewhere. So, you know.
Yeah.
But yeah, if you're able to check it out, I think it's pretty fun and it's pretty cool because you can just save it on your PC and just play it. Like I said, it's like basically having the original, DX version, but instead of having to use an emulator or any of that, it's just on your PC with some pretty nice quality of life improvements. So there you go.
Yeah. It sounds pretty fun.
Yeah, you should try to check it out. Maybe I can like send it to you on like Discord or something.
Yeah. You should.
Yeah, maybe I will. Or maybe I won't. Maybe I'll be like, too bad. It's only for me. No, I'm just kidding. All right. Anyway, that's it for my week, though. Like I said, that's the only thing I did of that was really of note. Besides that, it was just watching a bunch of anime, stuff like that. So, yeah.
Yeah.
Alrighty, guys. Moving over to the news, we have some news stories that I think are pretty interesting. And there's one that I think Legend of Jonathan might not know yet, but I think he'll be excited once we get to it. Because I actually didn't really discuss the news stories with them this time before starting. So, we'll get there in a moment, though. The first news story is one that a lot of people saw coming, but I think it was still finally like, oh, we finally got the confirmation of it, I guess. As the title there states, E3 officially dead after more than 2 decades.
R.I.P.
Yeah, so nobody's surprised. It's not anyone's like, oh my God, I never saw this coming, because everyone kind of thought so.
Yeah.
But it still kind of, sucks to hear the news that, yep, after like, more than 2 decades, it's officially dead. They're giving up. It's not coming back. So, yeah, just pretty crazy. We're living in a post E3 world, which, well, a lot of people are like very indifferent about it. And they're kind of like, oh, whatever. What's really the use of E3 these days? I know we've talked about it on the channel at several points. I'm still a bit disappointed because, even though yeah all these companies now have like their own like conferences, right? And certain people do stuff like the showcases, or yeah, like Xbox does the showcases, and Sony's doing the state of play and stuff like that now. I still think it's disappointing because this, for like lack of a better term,
Yeah.
kind of force companies to, reveal information and prepare stuff. You know what I mean? Because it was really cool for everybody to just be on the same page of like, okay, during this like first week or like second week or whatever of June, since
Hmm.
E3 is happening, we want to be part of the buzz. We don't want to, like get like left behind. So they would prepare, presentations, they would prepare some sort of news, some sort of demos and stuff to show off. And even when they were like no longer a part of E3, but they were still at around the same time still presenting. Like, even though Nintendo wasn't a part of E3 for like the longest time, but they would still do their Treehouse event or like Nintendo Direct very close to E3 time. And same thing
Yeah.
with some of these other studios. They started doing it same thing where we're not going to be at E3, but we're going to have our own thing like that same week. And it kind of sucks because now with E3 gone, companies feel like they don't have to like do that anymore. And we did notice that these last couple of years with the whole
Hmm.
COVID thing when we weren't sure if E3 was coming back and that it was like canceled. We started noticing that yeah, some companies like just weren't releasing information during that time the way they would. And they kind of released it like way later in the year. And I think that's really lame because like I said, I think it was kind of cool that at least they would kind of make everybody be on the same page, you know what I mean? And now with that gone, it's like, who knows? I mean, will Nintendo still do their direct in June? Probably because it seems like it's kind of a trend for them, right? They usually do one like in June, they do another one in like September. They sprinkle some little mini directs and like indie showcases here and there. Like I'm sure they'll still do it, but if they wanted to skip it, they could because there's nothing there to kind of like force them to like do it anymore. You know what I mean? And even though
Yeah.
Nintendo's really good about, usually being consistent with the whole like June and September thing at the very least, but like what about people like Microsoft? What about people like Sony? What about people like, Ubisoft and all that? You know what I mean? They're just gonna do whatever they want now. And it's kind of disappointing because if they feel like it, they'll just like not release information at all, except for maybe like once a year. I don't, you know what I mean? So I just feel like at least it kind of was like a set schedule, like routine thing that, companies that kind of encourage them to like, okay, this is the time to release information. So I think that's kind of lame. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? And then, yeah, I just think it's kind of lame that even if it was kind of not as necessary anymore, I don't know. It's just always nice when there's something to look forward to, something that kind of brings everybody together in the gaming industry. Um, like the Game Awards, a lot of people are kind of, cynical about it, kind of, silly about it, but you still see so many people talk about it and come together to like watch it and discuss stuff about it afterwards. And, now we just have one less event to like that does that brings everybody together. So I still think it's disappointing.
Yeah.
I still think it's disappointing. Yeah.
Yeah. I miss the E3 presentation. Yeah, expos and stuff.
Yeah, it just really sucks. So yeah, not for sure it's gone. I don't know. We'll have to see. I mean, there is stuff, like the summer games fest and like, Game Awards and stuff like that. And like I said, Nintendo still does its directs and all that, but yeah, definitely a different landscape. So oh well. I mean, it is what it is, I guess. At least we are in an age where, at least you can always have all these companies release information and do little videos that they upload to like YouTube and all that stuff. So at least it's not like a total loss, but I'm still a bit disappointed. Like you said, RIP E3. So,
Yeah.
yeah. Jumping over to some news that I would say is a bit more positive, at least. Something very interesting, something to look forward to, as I was saying. As the title of the article states, Kojima Productions collaborates with A24 to adapt Death Stranding into live action feature film. So
Oh, that actually.
yes, yeah, it's pretty cool. I mean, we just saw
Hmm.
Kojima over at the Game Awards where he announced that there's going to be that game that he's going to make for Microsoft called OD. And they did say that there's going to be a Death Stranding 2. We don't really know when that's going to happen. And it sounded like that was it, Okay, he's working on two games. That sounds like a pretty good start or whatever, right? It sounds like that's pretty cool. However, there was actually before this, I had actually heard there was a bit of a leak actually first, where apparently they accidentally released the t-shirt. Because in the picture for like the article, he's wearing a t-shirt that says 824, but it's kind of like it has like the strands like from Death Stranding. And apparently they accidentally leaked the shirt design first. And I guess people are like, oh crap, is he gonna like make a movie with A24? And then like right after, I mean, I guess since they kind of messed up, that's when they finally like, announced it. But yeah, he is teaming up with A24, which is a studio that's making like a whole bunch of, films right now, like, Everything Everywhere All at Once and a bunch of those like horror movies and all sorts of projects, right? Then apparently, yeah, he's gonna make a Death Stranding live action movie. And that'll be really interesting because I don't know, man. Death Stranding as a freaking game already has like a pretty big story with a lot of cutscenes and stuff. And it's already like super crazy and like, I don't know, just trying to see it in a different medium, seeing it as a movie. Who knows how that's gonna work?
Yeah.
Because, will they try to adapt the story from the game? Will they go like some sort of another story set in that same universe? Who knows?
Yeah.
But
Or if Kojima just like writes it down like a book and then like gives it to the company. Yeah.
yeah, who knows what's going to happen? It even says at the bottom of this article, further details were not announced, but it'll be very interesting to see what's going to happen. And especially because this guy, he's big fan of cinema and stuff. You can tell he's always wanted to like make a movie and all that stuff. So the fact that he's teaming up with A24 to make one of his, properties come to life on the big screen, it'll be very interesting to see how that happens. So pretty cool. And it'll definitely be something to keep an eye out for, and see how this develops. So I thought that was a really cool news story.
Yeah.
Then after that, I don't know how many people are aware of this game, but as the title of the article states, Freedom Planet 2 for PS5, Xbox Series, PS4, Xbox One, and Switch delayed to spring 2024.
Bro, that
So
sucks.
there is this game that came out. Ooh, when did the original game come out? I don't remember. But there's this game that
2014.
oh, okay, perfect. There you go. There's this game that originally came out called Freedom Planet. And Freedom Planet is very inspired by Sonic. In fact, I think it originally started as like a Sonic like fan game or something. I don't remember,
It
but
it did, yeah.
yeah, there we go. Yeah, I did. Okay, good. I'm glad you are more because I was off the top of my head, I thought that was it, but I wasn't sure. But yeah, originally it was like a Sonic fan project, right? And then they
Hmm.
kind of started developing it into their own game. And it became this game called Freedom Planet that the main character is this purple that girl that she's supposed to be like a dragon. So she's supposed to be like a dragon anthropomorphic, looks kind of like Sonic, where her hair is kind of like spiky. And it's her. And then she's basically the Sonic of the game. And then there's this like Bobcat that her name is Carol, I believe, and she's kind of like the Knuckles, where she is more of like a power, type character. And she, is like this Bobcat, also anthropomorphic. She rides around like on a motorcycle and stuff. That's like her whole gimmick. And then the third playable character is kind of like the tails of the group, and her name is oh my god, what is her name? I'm totally blanking on her name. I don't know if you can look it up real
Hmm.
quick. But yeah, you can look it up real quick. But the third character whose name I'm not remembering right now, she's a basset hound, and she can like same as like kind of like Cream. She flies using her ears. And yeah, basically these are like the three playable characters, and they're like friends, and it's all about like there's this evil dictator sort of thing going on, and they're trying to like save the world from this dictator, blah blah blah. And they even have kind of like a shadow that it's like this, kind of rival, edgy character that he's kind of like a panda, I believe. And I don't know, it's just really interesting. The point is, it has parallels to Sonic, but it is still its
Hmm.
own thing, which is really interesting. And yeah, it was a really good first title. And yeah, they even added DLC to it and stuff over time. And they had for a long time said they were going to make a Freedom Planet 2. And people have been waiting for Freedom Planet 2 for a long time, but it's just kind of been taking a while because I guess it's just like a very ambitious, sequel. And they had finally said that supposedly it was coming sometime 2023. And yeah, basically what this new story is saying is that no, it is not coming out in 2023. It's going to come out in spring 2024, which honestly, with how much
Yeah,
little time is left at this point, it shouldn't be very surprising that's coming out next year. Like, there's no way it was going to come out like in like a couple weeks or whatever. But it's still one of those things where it's like, okay, well, at least it finally got like announced that yeah, it's coming next year because it was kind of weird. There hadn't really been an update in a while. You know what I mean?
yeah. So I
Um,
found the name. Her
yeah,
name's Milia,
yeah.
Milla.
Okay.
She's like well, actually she's like a dog, but she has like rabbit ears,
That's what I'm
kind
saying.
of.
I think she's supposed to be a basset hound.
Mm-hmm. And then yeah, the Freedom Planet 2 did come out, but only on PC. This is just ports to consoles. That's why.
Oh, it did come out on PC then.
Mm-hmm. See, because look down. It says launched for
Um,
PC and Linux via Steam on September 13th, 2022.
oh, okay. I thought it just hadn't come out at all. So it did come
Nope.
out on Steam first, and it's just taken a couple years then to get it on other consoles then. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Totally missed that part. I just thought the sequel, was taking a while, but so it did come out. The
Nah.
okay, that's
Mm-hmm.
interesting. Okay, okay. So we did get the sequel at some point, I guess. I guess you could play it technically. But it's just if you want on console, you'd have to wait still then. Okay, there we go. Interesting.
Yeah.
Very interesting. But okay, but there you go. But the point is, it's a very fun little series, and it's really well done. Like it's very polished, very well done, and it's kind of cool to know that it's still going. Then, yeah, hopefully, you know, we get those console ports. Hopefully, it doesn't miss its what do you call it? Hopefully, it doesn't miss its release window again. Hopefully, it does it this time. And yeah, I just hope people continue to play it, and I hope it continues to grow. It would be really interesting if they just keep going with the series. That'd be really cool.
Yeah.
And yeah,
Hopefully
if
we
you
get like a third one.
yeah, hopefully we just keep getting the games. Hopefully they keeps doing well. And then yeah, if
Mm-hmm.
you go to the website, it's literally freedomplanetgame.com. You can actually get a demo of the first game. And yeah, I guess from there, if you're interested, you like the demo, check out the first game, and if you like that, either get the second game on, Steam or, wait for the second game or whatever. But I definitely recommend it. I think Freedom Planet, it's like a really well done series. And it's really cool to see someone that like originally started like doing like a fan project that just like became its own thing. You know what I mean? So it's a pretty cool like
Mm-hmm.
success story, basically.
Yeah.
Yeah, have you ever played Freedom Planet?
The first one, yeah.
Oh, cool, cool, cool. Did you ever like play the whole thing or just like play a bit of it?
Like the first episode. I mean, first level, yeah.
Okay, cool, cool. Yeah, it's definitely a pretty good game. So, I would say if you have a chance, go back and play more of it and stuff. And especially because yeah, it's really fun being able to play as like the different characters and stuff. It's pretty fun. So I would
It
recommend
kind
it. I think it's really cool. And I like the characters too. Like they're like really fun. The story and stuff has like, humor and it's a cute game. So it's pretty cool.
yeah, yeah, yeah. It gives me like Sonic Advanced vibes compared to like the other Sonic games. That's what it kind of gives me vibes of.
I can see that because Sonic Advance is
Mm-hmm.
kind of like that, where it's kind of like a PC version, right, of one of the original games, the pixel art and a lot of people you can play as and stuff like that. I could see that.
Mm-hmm.
Nice. All right, cool, cool, cool. So there you go, guys. Check out Freedom Planet and look if you're looking forward to Freedom Planet 2, hopefully you are now that we've talked about it. So there you go.
Yeah.
All right, and finally, this is the news story that I was going to say. I don't know if Legend Jonathan had heard about this, but as the title of the article states, new Urusei Yatsura anime second half to air for half year starting on January 11th.
Oh yeah, no, I know about this.
Like I thought so, but did you know that it was going to be like that long? That they say it's going to come out literally from like January 11th. I mean, it's gonna like air for like a whole
Hmm.
half a year.
Yeah.
All right, cool, cool. Just wasn't sure if you knew
Hmm.
like all the details. But yeah, there you go. Legend of Jonathan, he's definitely talked about the first part or whatever you want to call it of this new Urusei Yatsura, remake or whatever, and talked about how he had really enjoyed it, blah blah. And yeah, as the article talks about, starting on January 11th, which is not too far off, they're gonna feature the second half of this remake. Because I don't know, would you call it a second season? I don't think it's a second season, right? Isn't it still? Are they even like cutting into seasons? That's where I'm a bit confused, kind of what the details
There's only
are.
2 seasons. There's only going to be 2 seasons.
Okay, gotcha.
Hmm.
So yeah, so I guess you would call it like the second season, but this second season is going to be two cores, which usually,
Hmm.
12 episodes is like one core or whatever. And here it's going to be like two cores, and
Like the last one, yeah.
yeah, and it says that's going to like air for like half a year. So that's quite a bit. So it's going to be quite a bit of episodes, you know what I mean? So that's pretty cool.
Hmm.
So yeah, more is coming soon. That's pretty
Yeah.
cool. And yeah, they also kind of said there's gonna be like new cast members, all that good stuff. So let's see if they're definitely, pulling out all the stops to get this made and get it out there. And it's pretty cool. I mean, it's really nice to see this just back in the to see this series just be back and looks like it's doing pretty good and stuff. That's pretty cool. So yeah,
Yeah.
not really much to say. Just that yeah, Urusei Yatsura's coming back pretty soon. There's gonna be more episodes, and yeah, I'm wondering if they're planning once this is done, I'm wondering if they're gonna plan any new content after that. Like I wonder if they'll make like a new movie after this. I could kind of see them doing that. Or I wonder if that would kind of just be it for the franchise.
I think this is just going to be it because the creator, she said that she just doesn't want to do anything else involving Urusei, like ever again, because she says that
Huh.
there's nothing else to like tell after like the manga and like the anime,
Gotcha,
which
gotcha.
kind of sucks, but I don't see it.
Okay, I got you. All right. Yeah, because I
Hmm.
was wondering, I mean, you never know if maybe like this could lead to like a new movie or something. But yeah, if she's explicitly said she doesn't want to, then yeah, I guess that's gonna be it. But still, it was a
Hmm.
kind of nice little like anniversary thing of like, hey, here's like a remake of it, and it's almost like a the first one had a lot of filler, had a lot of like changes and stuff. Here's kind of like a more kind of like the definitive version, you can almost say. You know what I mean? So that's pretty cool.
Yeah,
All right, question
I'm pretty
then.
excited.
Do you think after this comes out, do you think she would be interested in making a remake of Ranma 1.5?
Um, that I'm not sure, but if she sees that this went really well and a lot of people did like it, I can see her like, yeah, giving permission to like make a remake of like her other series, to be honest.
Yeah, because I wonder if she would want to go there. Like, okay, Urusei did really good. Obviously, that was kind of like it was released a long time ago, so this is almost like an update of it. I guess almost a definitive version, because obviously there's some stuff that's cut down and changed around a bit or whatever. I wonder if she would be interested in maybe doing the same thing for Ranma, maybe like a whole remake of it and same thing, maybe, cut it down or I wonder, I mean, that would be interesting to see if she wants to do
Hmm.
that with Ranma. Because I feel like that's probably like her second most famous series.
Hmm.
Cool, cool,
Yeah,
cool.
I kind of wonder that too, because I know like the anime, the original one wasn't that great by the end because it just started going off of pure like filler basically. Like it was like made off of like anime original stuff, and they never even finished the anime off of like the actual manga, basically.
Yeah, exactly. So that's why I'm wondering what could happen.
Hmm. Yeah.
But well, I guess it's all speculation for now. We'll just have to wait and see. But there you go. More Urusei Yatsura coming soon. And yeah, once it's all done, once all of these episodes air, yeah, I'll go and I'll probably catch up and just watch everything together. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, you
And
should.
yeah, I should. Yeah. Alrighty, guys, and that is it. Basically, that's it for the news. And I think that might be it for the podcast as well, honestly, because this time I don't really have anything to recommend. Don't really have a topic of the week. I didn't really think of anything. Nothing really came to mind. So that's kind of it for now, I guess. But there you go, guys. We talked about some of the stuff that we watched and played. We talked about some pretty interesting news stories. And yeah, I guess it's gonna be it for now. Um,
Hmm.
let's see. What is the date on the calendar? Hold on, I just want to see. Um, yeah, I don't know if we're gonna really do some episodes these next coming weeks with the whole holidays coming up. We might
Hmm.
not. It's still kind of iffy. So this might be it for the year, honestly. Kind of, a bit anticlimactic, right? But it might be because
Yeah.
honestly, with the whole holidays thing coming up, it might be kind of hard to like be able to, really get together and record and all that stuff. This might be it for the year, which is kind of like I said, a little bit anticlimactic. So I don't really know what to say. I mean, maybe we'll be back,
Yeah,
with another
maybe.
episode. Um, I don't know because I know next week might be kind of difficult because it's kind of a very close to like Christmas and all that. Um, so maybe we'll skip next week, but we'll be back the week after that. Maybe we can try to do something right before the whole New Year's Eve thing. Um, I don't know. It's actually kind of iffy, honestly. But even then, even if we like get together and record and all that stuff, the episode wouldn't come out until the new year. So it's kind of weird, I mean, it's we're kind of in a weird spot here, honestly.
Yeah, it's very awkward, honestly.
Yeah, we'll just have to kind of wait and see what happens, I guess. So if we don't see you guys until next year, then I hope everyone has a good holidays. Wish you a happy new year. Because the next time
Hmm.
you hear from us again, it might be until after, 2024, quite honestly. So
Yeah.
yeah, hope everyone takes care. Like I said, we might try to
Same.
do something, a couple weeks from now, see if we're able to squeeze out one last podcast, but it's a bit hard to say because of the whole holidays coming up and all that. So, if we don't hear from you, at least, we kind of gave you the heads up. Might not, hear from us until 2024, but, I know for sure that the next time you hear from us, we for sure will have more to talk about. At the very least,
Yeah.
I'll have, all those anime to talk about because I know a lot of them are ending within like the next like week or two. And by then, we'll probably be on our way to the next season of anime. So, there's all that stuff to talk about. And then Legend Jonathan, I'm sure he's gonna watch more Dolly and the Franks at least, so he'll have that to talk
Yeah.
about. So, even if we take a couple weeks off, at least when we come back, there'll be plenty to talk about. So, look forward to that. But until then, hope everybody takes care. Hope everybody enjoyed this podcast episode. Continue watching, continue, enjoying and checking out the stuff that we, discuss and recommend. Until next time, we're signing out. Bye bye.
Goodbye.